All right, welcome back. Algebra 1. Today is actually kind of easy. It's a just one formula. It's a quadratic equation. This helps you solve for x when you have any random thing that you need to have, any random numbers in there. So I'm just going to show you what it is. My stairs. My water bottle, as you've all seen. All right, so. You all right, Chief?
Yeah.
Great. It's x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, everything over 2a. And remember, y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So we use these a, b, and c and just plug them in here. So if we have y equals 2x squared minus 3x minus, let's just say 1, make it easy. We use that to plug it in. We have negative 3, because remember this is our formula right here. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared plus 4 times 2, minus 4 times 2 times negative 1, everything over 2 times 2. Just plugged everything in. Negative b, negative 3, there's our b right here, plus or minus the square root of negative 3 squared, notice the negative in parentheses, so we squared that too, minus 4 times 2 times negative 1, everything over 2 times 2. And we really just simplify at that point. 3 plus or minus square root of 9 minus negative 8, everything over 4. Negative 3 is positive 3. Negative 3 squared is 9. 4 times 2 times negative 1 is negative 8. 2 times 2 is 4. So this is what it turns into. And then we just simplify it. Becomes 3 plus or minus square root of 17 over 4. So for this one, we would end up with a decimal. And that's fine. That's fine. We'd have to find the square root of 17. Square root of 17 is about 4.12. So it's coming down here. 3 plus or minus 4.2. 4.12, my mistake. Everything over 4. So we have to split this up into two different things. 3 plus 4.12 over 4 and 3 minus 4.12 over 4. And with that, we just simplify and solve. Be 7.12 over 4. Negative 1.12 over 4. And this becomes negative 0.28. And this one becomes 1.78. And these are our two answers. Yes, you will come across two answers for every single one. Unless, of course, something called the discriminant, which is, I'm going to put the formula back up here, negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. if b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, then you're going to have there's only one solution. If it equals anything but 0, it's going to have two solutions. Now the two solutions could be real or imaginary. We're going to only focus on the real ones. The imaginary ones are if this is negative. We're not going to focus on those. We're going to focus on the real ones where this is positive. Again, like we said before, we don't really focus much on imaginary numbers and imaginary solutions in Algebra 1. That's more of an Algebra 2 type thing. So we don't have to worry about that just yet. So if we have something like, I'm going to give you a little bit of a fun one here. 12x squared minus 77 minus 20 equals 0. Again, y has to equal 0 in order for x to equal this. So if it doesn't, you have to make it equal to 0 by adding or subtracting. So this just becomes negative 77 plus or minus the square root of negative 77 squared minus 4 times 12 times negative 20, everything over 2 times 12. And then we are going to simplify this. 77 squared is 5929 plus 4 times 12 times 20 is going to give us 960, and it's 77 plus or minus that, everything over 24. So that is our new simplified from this. That's just multiplying and squaring and doing all that other stuff. So now we do a little bit more. 5929 plus 960 is 6889. 77 plus or minus square root of 6889, everything over 24. Square root of 6889 is 83. So that actually came up with a pretty easy number. So we have 77 plus or minus 83, everything over 24. And this is when we have two separate answers. This is when it splits off. This plus or minus means we have to add one and subtract the other. So, and then subtract it again. We add it once, subtracted it a second time. So it's 77 plus 83 over 24. And the other one would be 77 minus 83 over 24. Okay, so this one's the easy one because this would be negative 6/24, which is the same thing as negative 1/4. So that's one answer. And the other answer is 160 divided by 24, which is 6 2/3. The other answer you can put would be 20/3. These are our two answers to this problem right here, starting with this one right here. 12x squared minus 7x minus 20 equals 0. All right, and that is really it for today. Tomorrow is going to be kind of a little bit of the same thing, a little more practice on this, a little bit more focus on the discriminant than the whole thing. Again, don't get too frustrated with this. Plug it in and solve, plug it in and solve. Use your math, use your order of operations. That is the best way to do this. If you have any questions, please, again, feel free to ask. And just going to keep writing this out. See y'all later.